I survived 100 days in the brand new Better Minecraft mod pack. Better Minecraft is one of the most popular mod packs out there. In this new version, I want to build myself a nice base, hatch a dragon egg, and most importantly, try and take out some of these insane bosses scattered throughout the dimensions. The first thing I always do in these mod packs is basically grab these quest rewards, get some bread, this charm of life thing, some torches, and then a bunch of random books. Whoa, that is a snow leopard. As soon as I grabbed these fur logs, I collected the first major overworld quest and used a crafting table to make a wooden pickaxe. From there, I actually upgraded all to stone tools. This charm of life thing, I think it's like a totem, basically. Put it on right there. Yeah, that looks sick. That might not be a village. Oh, I think it's a witch village. Find a swamp village. Give me something good. Okay. Some food, that's plenty. Inside of this swamp village, I fought tons of witches who happened to be very annoying since they heal non-stop. While I was there, I bookmarked a backpack recipe and an uncrafting table recipe. I also ended up getting poisoned by a witch, but after surviving that, I decided to grab more stone and started cooking up all the food I found. With all this food, I grabbed some coal from the side of this mountain and was getting ready to go mining. So I need to be stocked up on iron by the time this mining trip ends. Otherwise I might be screwed. After picking an area to start mining, I slowly tried working my way into a cave, but sadly I had no luck at all. Okay, you know what? Let's call it a day and we'll try again, find a new location in the morning. As soon as morning hit, I headed out and after quite a while I ended up seeing a mine shaft poking out of a cave. Oh, mine shaft. And iron immediately, let's go. How do we get there without dying? One iron right there. There's a bunch here. I gotta be careful. I grabbed the exposed ore from this cave and I made my way through this mine shaft from there. Almost immediately, a skeleton took down a bunch of my health. I had to stand back and get rid of the mobs. Before going deeper into this structure, I smelt some iron ore and crafted a shield. With that done, I was ready to explore. Iron. Let's go. Whoa, tons of iron. What is this structure? This is crazy. That's enough for a lot of things. That little area got me around 18 raw iron ore, which I took back to my furnace to cook. I also looked into one of these chests here and picked up a golden apple. I got pretty lucky finding one more of these chests, which meant I had 2 golden apples. But for now, I was actually out of regular food. On the bright side, I made an iron chestplate, leggings, helmet, and an iron pickaxe. From one of these strays, I picked up a bow, but now I was for sure just completely out of any food. I was eating rotten flesh. Before leaving this area, I made an iron sword and boots. Back on the surface, I took out some pigs for pork chops and was waiting for things to cook. Here, I fought snow leopards and gathered tons of sugarcane. During this night, I ended up in a village where I picked up some really cool things. The most important being these nether warts and the bookshelves. After that, I grabbed some of these workbench blocks for the quest rewards and found myself inside of a pillager camp. Here I fought a vindicator and a few normal pillagers. I also ended up picking up a ton of hay bales. By the next morning, I was inside of a very cool structure which had tons of food. I drank a luck potion that was inside this brewing stand and moved on from this structure once I had fully cleared it out. On top of this hill, I ended up in another structure which was called a safe haven. Inside of this place, I picked up tons more hay bales and was able to get a stack of bread. As soon as that place was cleared out, I managed to trap a vindicator in a boat and decimated the rest of the pillager camp. I grabbed a really good amount of loot and moved on. Oh, waystone. Free waystone? Dude, what? It's actually so clutch. Got a quest for that. An ender pearl, let's go. With this waystone in hand, I finally found a plains biome and actually ended up inside of a dirt hut. Now this place had a basement with a zombie villager that I decided to cure. I ended up sleeping instead of waiting for all that to finish. Day 5 to 6, from here I really needed to start working on a house. Let's find a nice area first, and then we can get ready. I think this way is better. There's more plains biomes this way. I ended up fighting through another pillager camp and unknowingly started clearing out an area inside of a fur clearing biome. Now this biome ended up being very snowy as I was putting all these things down. Even after clearing out a nice little area, I realized that the snow was definitely not fun to live around. This meant I had to grab everything once again and wanted to move over to the plains biome, which happened to be pretty close to where I was already at. I ended up getting sidetracked by another structure. This happened to be some sort of illager structure, which I decided to explore using the staircases on the right side. These stairs led down to a tunnel which was jam-packed with Vindicators. Since these guys could shred through my gear, I made sure to block them off. Even then, I would get hit by some of these axe throwers and these guys with bows. Luckily, the chests in this place happened to be great, and I had tons of ingots and books. I slowly started making my way to the other side of this structure, and once again, I was super careful. Around this time, I had 55 emeralds. Diamonds. Anything in here? Got anything good? More diamonds. Let's go. From there, I grabbed 2 stacks of books, ate a golden apple, and took out this mob called an archivist. I snatched up some more chests while I was down here and tried fighting the mobs on the very top floor. This fight ended up being really tough. My totem. That charm a life thing. What a lifesaver. Okay, well, no more freebies now. With the Vindicators gone, I took out one Evoker and ran away so the Vexes despawned. When I hopped back into this structure, I grabbed and equipped the Totem of Undying, then realized there was no good loot inside of this place. Finally, with all that done, I decided to come back to the plains biome that I had lit up and started clearing out a place where I could build a home. I planted oak saplings around, cleared out huge sections of dirt, and then used these path blocks to blueprint a little house. I took a slight detour to grab some more oak logs and then extended the house out a little more. That night I fought tons of skeletons who all ended up hurting me a lot. This was all so I could grow these saplings though. After setting up most of the frame, I found a spruce tree in the snow, which I snatched up and replanted around my base. Time to get this place done. I actually managed to get some bones. I'm gonna use about half of these to get some of this spruce cooking too. Oh, this is gonna be massive. Max size is 100. That's insane. Oh, finally, let's go. At this point, I had plenty of logs, so I started properly building this base. I made sure to pick up tons of sand as well, and then mapped out the entrance of the house. Before it turned dark, I had a good amount of this place done, and it looked pretty basic so far, but I hadn't done any detailing yet. That night, I fought a pillager captain, which gave me the bad omen effect that I had to get rid of. From there, I detailed the sides of the house with these oak planks. Then I made the entrance and filled out the floors. With all that done, I moved on to start using spruce. I sprinkled these trapdoors around the house and hung lanterns off of them. This made the outside look pretty good. I even placed some fences around the entrance as well. By the next morning, I had the frame of this house done and needed to focus on the roof. Luckily, I had tons of spruce logs, which made this job so much easier. This process wasn't anywhere near as time consuming as the frame, and I had the roof up in no time. Turns out there was enough space for a second floor, which meant I did even more decoration for that part of the house. I also used spruce slabs for the floor. Even better news though, I could actually fit an enchantment table up here as well. With all that done, I started moving the chests I had over there and gave these chests all like 1 block of separation. The waystone was then moved underneath the stairs, and the crafting table and furnace were next to the chests. Since I had taken on that pillager structure, I had enough items to set up the 15 bookshelves on the second floor. Back on the bottom floor, I added texture by placing in random blocks. With most of the house finished, I ran around looking for blue and red flowers. This was so I could make a purple dye. When I came back home, I made warp scrolls and remade iron armor. So the space between the chests were here just so I could hook all of these chests up to a network later. With that done, I used 3 of my 4 diamonds for a pickaxe and started forming nether warts. Next to the soul sand, I placed down a smithing table and a brewing stand on top of that. To end these days off, I made a circular pen and went over to this one pillager camp to grab more hay bales. With that, I lured in 2 cows. Day 11 to 13, I grabbed a good amount of cobblestone and cooked about half of that. Then I started filling out the little area 1 block away from my house with cobblestone and regular stone. Eventually, I picked up some gravel to add this, and with that done, I started to go mining. I picked that little cave next to my house and started staircasing down. From there, I used my mini-map to help me locate a cave. More iron. Oh, and we found our first cave. Let's go. Bunch of iron. Just 1 iron, thank you. Let's see if we can break this down to a bigger cave, or if we can find anything cool. Down here, I made sure to grab as many coal and iron as possible. Turns out this cave was pretty large and even extended down to a dripstone cave. Eventually, I even got down to deep slate level. So we should be able to start getting diamonds properly now around these areas. Oh, lapis, that is a big plus. And if I see a lava pool, I might as well get like, how many? I gotta think. I need almost 10 for the portal, and then I need a bunch for the enchantment table. Down here, I even found an amethyst geode. While I was there, I grabbed a good amount of shards. After that, I ended up with 2 more diamonds, which was enough for an enchantment table. As soon as I came home, I made my way towards a lava pool and found a waystone along the way. Grabbing this obsidian took way too long since I needed like 16-ish for everything I was planning on doing. Anyway, I got what I needed and set up this enchantment area properly. Once that was done, I set up a nether portal as well and lit that thing up. To get these network storages, I had to hop into the nether. This is definitely not a good spawn. I don't even know where I'm at. There's quartz up there though. It's not all a lost cause. Solid. Is that 3? Oh my god, I'm missing 1 more. Oh yeah, let me get my quest reward for this. 1 lingering potion of fire. These are some insane monsters. Whoa. After grabbing enough quartz, I wanted to move on to better biomes. Here, I found this piglin brute spawner little structure, and this thing ended up being really good much later on. More importantly though, I found an even cooler structure past this one. I don't know what that structure is, but I'm gonna get over there. Looks like it might be something good. While I was gathering blocks on the mini map, I saw something really cool, so I marked that down. Then I went back to building over to this tower. So later on in this journey, these towers become the greatest structures ever. But for now, I just use it to farm blaze rods. I ended up having to use this fire resistance potion. I managed to only get like 6 blaze rods and then immediately got distracted by a nether keeper structure. One of the chests on the corner of this place had some diamonds, which was really helpful. Once I got down to the main area, I fought these giddy blazes, but it was this spore thing which actually got my totem to pop. Alright, day 13. Still have my stuff. Things are getting rough in here, folks. Losing a lot of durability. So this is not the right place. This is the right one. Oh my god. This thing is so annoying. I don't know how you stop it. Okay, but it's all worth it because of these rooms. Tons of diamonds, tungsten, whatever. With that structure looted, I came home, bred my cows, and got vein mining on my pickaxe. I also crafted a diamond sword and chest plate, then started slaughtering some of those cows that I already had. Here, I realized I had made a mistake by not saving 1 diamond. Instead of focusing on that though, I made a very small wheat farm to help me with these cows. I had the farm up by night and crafted some network cables. This was so I could eventually link up all these chests. By the morning, I figured out how to claim and force load the chunks my base was in. While looking on this giant map, I noticed a woodland mansion, so I started making my way over there. As I got there, I started moving very slowly since these mobs were really strong. Luckily, inside one of these chest rooms, I started picking up these rabbit hides. During this fight, I got back up to level 30, but more importantly, I had tons of these rabbit hides. I ended up almost dying going to the 2nd floor, so this is my sign to get back home. Here, I got Unbreaking 3 and Protection 3 on my diamond chest plate, and then started taking out more spiders for strings. Those strings allowed me to make a backpack, and with 1 leftover diamond, I was able to make the storage network route as well. Around this time, I also got a quest reward, which got me 5 more levels. Turns out I was short some redstone, so I had to hop into the mines really quick. With all that, I finally had this network route and the request table ready to go. From there, I actually enchanted my diamond sword and it ended up being stacked. For the enchantment area, I placed down a grindstone and an anvil. I was then able to combine 2 iron pickaxes to get a single decent one. Next to my base, I trapped an enderman, which got me an ender pearl, and I was able to make more warp scrolls. Day 16 to 17, my armor was in rough shape, so I needed to hit the mines. Before heading down there, I grew more wheat, slaughtered some cows, and then placed down a composter as well. With that done, I went back down to the caves that I had opened up recently, and down here I used vein mining for the first time, and basically just searched for diamonds. Oh my goodness. What is that? What was that thing? These caves were scary, but I made my way down to diamond level anyway and used vein mining a little bit just to help find some diamonds. Doing this, I managed to get 10 diamonds, but my diamond pickaxe was almost completely ruined at this point. I did break into an even larger cave, which had 6 more diamonds, totaling up to 16. 16, I need one more. Oh, there it is. Speak of the devil. With all that, I made the rest of the diamond armor and broke a spawner, which gave me 2 spawner fragments. I called it quits from there and then came home to smelt some stuff. At this point, I was actually completely running out of coal. As soon as morning hit, I went out to go look for this coal that I needed. I managed to get like 51 using my fortune pickaxe first and then just a regular vein mining one. And after that, I picked up all these red poppies to craft myself a red cape. From there, I even crafted a wolf armor to get bones as a quest reward. Then of course I had to grow more wheat. I also decided to make some of these random blocks like this bartering station and fill this right side of my house with chests just in case. I hooked that all up to the system and went back to the woodland mansion to get more emeralds and levels. Along the way, I did take out an enderman for pearls. In here, I fought tons of vindicators and even evokers this time, which allowed me to equip another totem. These upper floors happened to be a lot tougher than I thought, even though I had diamond armor now. The second floor chests absolutely sucked, but I figured out that you could equip like multiple totems, which is really cool. With that place cleared, I went over to the final floor and was disappointed again. I only managed to get like a single diamond chest plate. These totems though were still pretty helpful, so it wasn't all bad. A new problem I had in the morning was food, so I hunted some pigs and used a bunch of gold for golden apples. With that done, I decorated the area around my house with path blocks and coarse dirt. Then, I sprinkled these spruce slabs around. For 5 more levels, I crafted these small cages and picked up the quest rewards. This allowed me to enchant my leggings, which ended up being really nice. That's clutch. It's actually so sick. Day 20 to day 22, I wanted to find a nice village so I could potentially get a mending book. I traveled past the woodland mansion, taking out as many animals as I could find for food. I eventually ended up in a blue skies villager's house, and this place had a ton of good loot, plus the portal blocks to the Everdawn, I think. From there, I was out all night and had no luck with any structures at all. I couldn't find a single thing. I called it quits so I could come back home and cook up all this food that I had collected. I also made a smoker and used some levels to enchant my helmet, which ended up being decent. Once the food was cooked, I used my minimap to find a village and took out some endermen along the way. This actually ended up giving me enough items to craft a warp stone. Anyway, I started running over to what looked like a village on the map and was able to find the other portal blocks for the blue skies dimension inside of another house. This one was for the Everdawn dimension, I think. When I finally got to the village, I was having a pretty hard time trying to get these villagers to take the job. This process took an annoying amount of time. I even had to boat a villager over to an igloo. So around this time, I even slept inside of the village to get these guys to move around. Anyway, after that, I spent like a whole day just rolling trades. I had skipped over so many Sharpness 4 books and Unbreaking 3 books. I slept once again to get these guys to move around some more. This time I finally managed to lock a villager inside of an igloo and was able to just focus on this guy. After rolling a ton of trades, I finally got a single mending book. I placed the waystone down next to this igloo and came back home to grab all the emeralds I had from the woodland mansion. I then locked in the trade and tried bringing this villager back to my base, but I really couldn't find a way to get over there. Instead, I brought this guy back and locked it inside of the same igloo I was already working on. With that done, I started brewing potions of weaknesses at home. I ended up getting splash potions of weaknesses and lured a zombie over to this little thing. Now this zombie actually managed to turn a guard and the librarian into zombies, so I had to get rid of everyone but the one I needed. From there, I locked down the igloo and just waited. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 5 only. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll advance the trade real quick. Since the trades were so cheap, I accidentally bought too many mending books. But with all that, I made a spare chest and decked out my sword, chest plate, and leggings with mending. Day 25 to day 26, now that I had mending on some of my armor, I could now try and get netherite. I jumped into the nether and made my way over to the previous tower that I had explored. Remember that one piglin brute spawner? Hopefully the vein mining can take care of a good chunk of these. Whoa! Clutch. Get rid of that. Whoa, what in the world? 1, 2. Well, with all of that loot grabbed, I went into the basement of this nether keeper structure and first broke some spawners, picked up tons of blaze rods and diamonds from the chests. Unbreaking 3, where should that go on? Not there. Pickaxe, that'd be sick on the pickaxe, okay. So with that done, I moved back onto that tower, and from there, I broke a bunch more spawners. Now these towers I think are part of a bastion and they're really good. They're packed with gold and lodestones. Lodestones actually end up being insane later on since you can uncraft them for netherite ingots. I didn't know about that just yet. That up. Oh, let's go. And another one. Unbreaking 3 diamond leggings. Sick. Plus attack damage right there. More arrows. Let's go. I actually worked my way up through this tower and picked up so many more gold blocks. The final 2 floors happened to be garbage and I almost died from the blazes. I pearled out of there and then made it to this little area which I marked down before, and this place ended up being the Soul Forge. Oh, this is the place for the netherite monstrosity. I'm gonna be honest with you, there's no way I can take this guy on. There are ancient debris hanging around. Oh boy. Alright, well. Please get me out of here. Am I still on fire from what? Okay, well, that was not that fun. Finally, back home, I made a netherite ingot and brewed some fire resistance potions. I didn't want to upgrade the diamond gear just yet because I didn't have enough diamonds to make more smithing templates. While everything was brewing, I traded tons of books and even bought bookshelves which I broke and sold back. Doing this, I enchanted my helmet and it had Unbreaking 3 only. I also had enough spawner fragments to make an inactive spawner and put soul stealing on an iron sword. From there, I went down this little staircase that I had made and cleared out a 9x9 area that was about like 7 blocks high, I think. I placed the inactive spawner down and then put some water down that would move the mobs down to the center. From here, I set up a collection system, and now I just needed the soul of a mob to activate this thing. As I was waiting for it to turn dark, I made a spare diamond pickaxe and used that to make the staircase down to the spawner 2 blocks wider. As soon as that was done, I grabbed a stack and a half of deep slate, which I turned into stairs. I then tidied this place up and spent the whole night fighting skeletons with this soul-stealing sword. I think the chance for the actual souls to drop was like 2.5%, which made this kind of a nightmare. Luckily, by the morning, I had a skeleton soul and was almost level 30 again. Using this soul, I activated the spawner and had this mob farm up and running. The only issue was that I didn't do like a big enough drop for this collection system, so the mobs wouldn't bunch up properly. This farm was going to be inefficient for a little bit. I ended up getting to level 30, which gave me an insanely good pair of boots that I decided to put mending on. The skeleton farm was also clutch with the bones, so now I could stock up on wheat. While I was farming some mobs, I decided to make the entrance to this little cave area nicer and also had some ice, which I turned into packed ice. So my thought process was that this thing would help the mobs like bunch up, but it really didn't do anything. Day 29 to day 31, I was close to level 30 again, so I spent the majority of this day farming skeletons and was able to enchant my helmet. Bang, protection 4, there's an unbreaking book I have. That's 2 and 2, okay. Protection, mending, unbreaking on everything, and let's check this stuff out. Fortune 3 for the next 30 levels. Now that most of the gear was set, I got up to level 18 using the spawners and then gathered more food. As the next morning started, I did some light decorating by making these stairs down to this cave, and then I also made more path blocks. As soon as that was done, I sprinkled fences with lanterns around because I really liked the way they looked. When I got up to level 20 from the spawners, I moved on to start exploring. Here, I ransacked a snowy village and fought mobs the whole night. Eventually, I ended up in that one safe haven building, which had tons of hay bales. From there, I got on a boat and crossed a large frozen ocean. By the time the next morning started, I managed to only get like a horse, and that was it. I did, however, snatch up 2 waystones after and climbed up this one tower. Sadly, while teleporting, my horse died, suffocating in a wall. On the bright side though, I set up a waystone next to my mob farm. I also started sprinkling this glowberry on the corners of my base, and I really liked the way that looked. With all my armor set up, I just needed more diamonds so I could copy this smithing upgrade. Since the next enchant for the pickaxe was Fortune 3, I spent a good amount of time grinding levels. In between this grind, I bred more cows and traded tons of books for levels. I also smartened up and moved this collection system down 1 block. This allowed even more skeletons to pile up together. As soon as I got to level 30, I picked up Fortune 3, put Mending on my old pickaxe, and then combined the 2 pickaxes together. I also got Aqua Affinity on my helmet and went down to the old tunnel I had already been working on. As I was making my way down there, I already picked up tons of diamonds. This time during the tunneling, I almost broke my pickaxe, so I had to set down a waystone and then repair it. I was, however, able to make another smithing upgrade and upgraded my chest plate first. Whoa, I really like this purple look. Give me that. Dude, I'm shining too. That's awesome. That's actually so cool. With this pickaxe repaired to about 50%, I decided to hop right back into the tunnel, and here I actually picked up a good amount of diamonds. This time though, I messed up really badly and broke my pickaxe. Well, from there I crafted another diamond pickaxe, placed down a permanent waystone in the tunnel, and started working on advancing this cleric as well in the village that I was already in. Since I had a boatload of gold, I was able to upgrade the trades very quickly. I bought some ender pearls from this guy and made another waystone, which I decided to keep in my backpack. Doing all this trading and grinding got me up to level 30, which allowed me to grab a really good pickaxe. Again, I think I'm ready to take on some bosses. Most importantly, I want to see if I can actually take on the netherite monstrosity. So we'll get over there real quick. I need a few things. I think I had fire. Yeah, let's go. With the fire res and everything, I should be able to dodge bare minimum. We also have 3 totems. Okay, that means we're close. I know this noise. Let's see if we can fight this beast. This guy's no joke. Oh my goodness, he's so strong, dude. What in the world? Oh boy. Thank God for fire res. Ooh. Oh. That actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Oh my god. Oh boy, I should have made more shields. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Okay. I gotta craft another shield. Oh my goodness. Okay, good block. To have backline defense, which is the totem. Just tank 1. Run. Oh. It heals. Dude, that's so annoying. Oh my god. So you can't really run back. Okay, so upgrade the bow. This is a dire thing. Okay, I'm actually doing tons of damage. Last one. Last few hits. No. Come on. You're done. Jeez. Pick that up. And this awesome thing. Let's go. And I got 5 levels. With my first major boss taken care of, I was back inside of that old tunnel that I had made, looking for more diamonds. This time I splintered to the sides of the tunnel. Doing this, I got 33 old diamonds and had to repair my pickaxe after. With that done, I went around looking for coal and came back home to cook up all the ores I had collected. Then, I used 1 diamond to make a portal to the Twilight Dimension. My goal inside of this dimension was just to get the uncrafting table very quickly. I needed something called a maze map focus, and to get that, I had to defeat a few bosses first. The first one happened to be called a Naga. Oh, you're a lot stronger in this mod pack, aren't you? Jeez. I got it. This is like real simple. You're nowhere near as strong as the netherite monstrosity. What happened? Oh, I took down chunks of you. Let's try. Oh, knocked him out. Let's go. With the first boss out of the way, I grabbed 25 levels from the quest rewards and made my way over to the Lich Tower. I immediately grabbed a stack of books and climbed up the center staircase, breaking the spawners in between. Once I got to the top floor, I fought the Lich, and all I had to do was reflect the projectiles back for this first little round. The second stage of the boss was much harder since its minions just did a ton of damage. Once I healed up, I decided to just focus my attack on the Lich, which was all it took to basically wipe the boss out. I grabbed everything here, plus the quest rewards, and finally got to the structure that I needed. Inside of this maze, I needed to take out tons of minotaurs because they're the only ones who drop the maze map focus. My plan was basically just to stick around these spawner rooms, waiting for any of these guys to drop something good. I decided to keep some areas dark, and I even broke blocks around these spawners to give them more space to spawn. Oh yeah, I was also level 50 now, so I had made a quick detour back home using a waystone. I tried re-rolling enchants for a looting book, but that really didn't work out at all. Instead, I went back to the maze and stuck with the tried and true method. This finally worked, and I came back to craft this uncrafting table. So at this point, I didn't realize that this thing took levels, so I had to use like 15 levels getting my diamonds back. I quickly hopped into the Nether and started grabbing all these lodestones from that one tower bastion that I was in before. Turns out there were 4 in total in here, so I came back home and only had enough levels to get like 3 netherite ingots back. Anyway, I decided to make more smithing upgrades and then got full netherite armor. For some reason, getting full netherite armor just randomly gave me 5 levels, which allowed me to uncraft the last lodestone and also upgrade my sword. Day 39 to day 41, I was planning on working all the way up these upgraded netherite gear, but before that I actually wanted looting on my sword. To get that though, I needed a bunch more levels, so I started trading a ton of items. I managed to get up to level 17 and then also crafted a regular storage remote. This one doesn't have a crafting grid, but it can still bring items in and out. I replaced one of my totems for that and then traded items one more time before going into the mines. I really needed lapis. This one vein ended up giving me a stack, which was really helpful. From there, I repaired my pickaxe and put another inactive spawner on top of my skeleton spawner. This was for much later since I didn't have a mob soul to put in there yet. With my items repaired, I realized the quickest way to get tons of levels was to just hop into the Twilight Dimension again and defeat some of the bosses. I made my way over to the maze first, and here I got down to the center and took out the Minoshroom very easily. I also ate the Meef Stroganoff. From there, I had a choice between 3 bosses. I decided to fight whoever I could find first though. Turns out it was an Alpha Yeti who was surprisingly tougher than I imagined. Well, it was tougher at the start, but then it just stopped attacking. I was up to level 26 after that and decided to take on the Snow Queen next. This Aurora Palace was gonna be very annoying to navigate though. Oh my god. Oh. Dude, I'm so lucky. It took me a few tries, but I eventually got up to the Snow Queen's tower, and inside one of the chests going up, I picked up a Power 4 ice bow. Now she wasn't that tough at all, I just had to wait for her to get to my level, and turns out this boss just got trapped, and it was super easy to take out. This got me up to level 30, and the reward was 1 netherite ingot. The next boss was the Hydra, which is my personal favorite. For this boss, I used my new bow. Just like the Lich before, I had to reflect these big fire bolts back towards the dragon. For some reason, this bow draws back slower, so it took a little longer than it should have. Once the Hydra was gone, I vein mined tons of coal in its lair. The boss next up were the Night Phantoms, and I was really hoping to get lucky on my first try, since sometimes the boss chamber doesn't really spawn in here. I placed down a trophy to unlock this dungeon and started rolling through this place. Thankfully, my luck paid off, and I found the boss room very quickly. Now these guys were also a little bit stronger than I remembered, so I had to retreat a few times. However, I still defeated these guys relatively easily. I got 5 levels and another uncrafting table as a reward, and only had like 1 actual boss left. For some reason, it always happens to be the Urghast for me every time I play in the Twilight Dimensions mod. Since I couldn't fly, I actually had to navigate through this dark forest and then the dark tower, both of which happened to take a really long time for me to get through. That's not even the worst part. When I got up to the Urghast, I started getting a shader bug, which made it impossible to see some things. Even through that, I managed to bring the Urghast in using these little machines in the side rooms and did tons of damage. On the second turn, I got the boss's health down to a third and finally took it out after that. With all that done, I came home with 38 levels and made a netherite iron ingot, which I used on my chestplate. The only issue with these netherite upgrades was that I couldn't use other trims. With the rest of my levels, I picked up a looting 2 book from the enchantment table and put that on my sword. Day 46 to day 48, since I had tons of coal from the Hydra layer, I started using coal blocks for all of my furnaces and smokers. I then grew tons of wheat and bred my cows as I started brewing these fire resistance potions. With all that done, I went into the Nether to grab some ender pearls, even though I could just buy them. I was in here basically because I forgot. I traveled across this giant lava ocean and ran through a Nether keeper structure. Eventually, I found this cool little place which had some piglin brood spawners. Inside the chest, which was in the center, I picked up 2 more netherite scraps and then decided to come home. Here, I had plenty of ender pearls, 1 more lodestone, and could actually make another netherite ingot. With those items, I upgraded my leggings and helmet to netherite iron tier. Now that the gear was upgraded, I started following this ender pearl from this snowy village where I had set up the mending villager. This took quite a while. I spent the nights fighting tons of mobs and even taking down some of these other random structures along the way. By the morning, I was back out and following the eyes. I actually ended up being pretty lucky since this stronghold happened to be somewhat close. Once I dug into it, I had another issue. I needed to find the portal room, and these upgraded strongholds have like 3 layers, so I couldn't even use the minimap properly. I ended up spending a bunch of time inside of this library where I couldn't even find a single chest that had enchanted books. I mean, I searched every nook and cranny of this one room. I did, however, manage to pick up tons of bread and apples from these barrels, which were very helpful. After what felt like forever, I finally found the portal room, placed down my waystone, and came home to quickly put punch 2 on my bow and upgrade my chestplate to protection 4. I then bought more ender pearls and finally activated the end portal. I wasn't planning on jumping in yet, so I came home and crafted more golden apples first. Power 4, punch 2, mending. Let's go take on this ender dragon. Boom. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, moment of truth. Let's go. There we go. I can probably grab blocks now. There we go. Here comes the dragon. There it is. Oh my god. We'll just take as much as possible though. So this dragon fight wasn't too climactic. I basically used my bow to first take out all the crystals, which wasn't that hard. I did have to break these caged pillars using my pickaxe though. With that done, I actually stayed in the center tower, waiting for the dragon to perch, and ended up doing tons of damage to it with my bow while I was waiting. Before the dragon even perched for the first time, I had it down to like half health. Unfortunately, this dragon shredded through my shield and also damaged a little bit of my armor as it was perching, so I had to move back. With that done, the dragon was already pretty low on health, and that made it really easy to take out with the bow. There we go, bow done. Sword, everything set. Is there any more? That's it? These are all the levels? No, there has to be more levels. Come on. There they are. Boom. No. Oh. Okay, thank God. I thought I messed up. Can I do anything with it? Looks like this egg will take a long time to hatch. With the dragon taken care of, I took the gateway out to the End Islands. In the first chest, I picked up a void totem and a pretty nice enchanted book. Uh-oh. No, all the cool stuff. I'm so lucky I didn't die. Jeez. After that close call, I used these ender pearls to start moving across these islands. Please be an end city. Yes. Is there an end ship? No, this one doesn't have an end ship. Oh, it does. Let's go. Honestly, these end cities absolutely sucked. The main towers barely had any loot, and the top rooms with the 4 shulker boxes all managed to have nothing either, so I was pretty disappointed. That's not even the worst part. These mimic mobs happen to be like the strongest things ever. One of them even got me to pop a void totem. So when I made my way over to the end ship, I had to be extremely careful and take out the mimics from as far away as I possibly could. This was really hard, by the way. One of these guys who copied my bow would basically just start freezing me. There we go. Is that it? Please be it. Oh my god. So annoying, those mimics. I don't think I ever want to face those things again. Oh, this one is silk touch, okay. Let's just get these 4. Okay, got that. Boom, just like that, okay. Even better. Now we don't even have to worry about a backpack because we just have everything. As soon as I was back home, I made 2 more double chests for the storage system. Then I grabbed a bunch of stacks of bone meal and farmed tons of wheat. I used some bone meal for decorations as well. With that done, I decided to make an automatic composter just because it looked really cool. Then it was right back to stocking up on wheat and breeding tons of cows for later. Day 56, before taking on some of the stronger bosses, I wanted to upgrade my armor some more. So I hopped down into the tunnels to look for more diamonds. This was all just so I could make more smithing templates. I ended up with 11 diamonds from one vein and even more from another vein after that. I had around 32 more diamonds at that point. In total, I had around 78 diamonds. With that done, I went over to the village to repair my pickaxe via trades. Back home, I took my backpack off and equipped an elytra wing. At this point, I could only craft about like 36 fireworks. Since I had the levels though, I rolled tons of enchants and ended up with a book that got me sharpness 5 and looting 3 on my sword. From there, I also got unbreaking 3, and then when I put that and mending on my elytra, it took almost all of my levels. That thing's matching with my cape? That is so sick. I spent the night fighting creepers for gunpowder and tried to get any of these mob souls. Turns out I got lucky and ended up with a zombie soul. Sadly, you couldn't get the creeper ones. I activated the second spawner in the mob grinder and put a fence down to prevent baby zombies from getting through. The next day, I hopped back into the Twilight Dimension since the last 2 quests happened to have some great rewards. I first flew over to the clouds to take out this giant miner who dropped a giant pickaxe. I did a slight detour back home for night vision potions and then hopped right back into the Twilight Highlands biome looking for a cave. Here, I swapped to the giant pickaxe and spent a good amount of time just trying to break 3 of these giant obsidian blocks. Inside of this place, I grabbed a lamp of cinders, which completed the second to last quest, giving me 10 levels and a netherite ingot. The final quest of this dimension was just to go over to the last structure. This was very easy, and I came home to collect those 25 levels. We will upgrade the last piece of our armor to netherite iron, and then the next is netherite gold. Boom. We need 4 more netherite. Is it 4? Yeah, 4 turns into that. Oh boy. I did some decorating after that. First, I made a fancy bed, which I replaced my old one with. Then I crafted 2 couches, which were on the bottom floor, and 2 chairs for the upstairs part. I also crafted a side table next to my bed and put down 2 wooden benches in front of my house. Also, since I just liked the way they looked, I placed down like 2 shelves. Now these things don't stack up, but that really wasn't an issue to me. I then put 1 glowstone down, which lit up both floors, and then sprinkled around all these trophies that I had collected from taking out bosses. This made the base feel so much livelier, and I decided to go around exploring these snowy areas afterwards. I grabbed as much of the sugarcane as possible, fought a ton of creepers, and then came home. Here, I enchanted this infernal forge, which ended up giving me tons of really good enchants. Technically, it did more damage than my sword, but my sword was still better since of the speed. Day 59 to day 61. At this point, most of the bosses I needed to challenge happened to need like nether stars to summon, so I had to hop right back into the nether for that. I had tons of fire resistance and night vision potions, which should help me find structures. The first place I took down was a piglin camp, and then I ransacked another nether keeper dungeon. Funny enough, this nether keeper dungeon actually needs a nether star. After grabbing all the loot in the center room and on the towers, I moved on to the basement, which basically had the same types of loot. Once that area was cleared, I used this minimap to locate a treasure bastion. At this point I was sidetracked a little, and I decided to also get some netherite as well. Inside this treasure bastion, I fought tons of piglin brutes and looted the side rooms first, which were alright. The center room had like 19 more gold blocks and ancient debris inside of the chests. With this place cleared, I activated a random waystone inside of the nether and kept flying along. Further away, I broke apart this piglin brute spawner for more ancient debris and then found a structure which was called a citadel. So I was actually disappointed in this place. I did fight a cool mob called Wildfire, but aside from that, I didn't get anything good at all. This next structure was the jackpot. Turns out these towers are actually connected to a bastion, and this thing was so awesome. I ended up getting a full netherite ingot, 3 more ancient debris, and a few more lodestones. All that was from like one of the corners. I was disappointed that I didn't get any wither skeleton skulls, but being able to uncraft these lodestones for netherite iron made me feel a lot better. I was even able to craft some extra netherite iron, and with that done, I actually turned the netherite iron into netherite gold and upgraded all of my gear. The next day, I stocked up on an absolute ton of fire resistance potions and went right back into the nether. This time I found a little hut that was made out of nether bricks, and it had a wither skeleton spawner in the center. I used my brain for a little bit and tried to cover as many of the holes in here to make this area a lot darker. Then I started farming wither skeletons. I picked up 2 wither skeleton skulls from this spawner and decided to set a waystone down next to it. After some more grinding, I picked up the 3rd head and decided to get out of there. Day 63 to day 65. The first thing I did was go down to my tunnel and summon a wither. Now this dude was kinda tough since I was actually just having a hard time hitting it. I even managed to hit myself with an arrow. However, I had this wither taken care of and eventually went over to the snowy village to try and get apples from a farmer. This didn't work out too well at all. I did end up buying these pumpkin pies though, which I learned that you could cut up and eat it to give me speed boosts. The only issue with these pumpkin pie slices was that it barely fills up your hunger bar. Regardless, I went over to the nether keeper structure to summon the boss in here. I made sure to eat my golden apple and then place the nether star inside of the altar. In the start, things were going fairly well and I was able to handle all of the hits. But later on, this pumpkin pie not filling up my hunger bar started making this boss battle much harder. Once the reinforcements arrived, my totem popped, but by that time, I was actually able to take the boss out. This quest reward though made it 100% worth it. Since I needed even more nether stars, I was back in that little wither skeleton farm, just grinding out mobs. Once I got 3 more skulls, I hopped back into the tunnel, and this time I actually claimed the chunk I was in, so I was able to keep the wither's explosions contained. I managed to pick up another nether star after that. Back home, I upgraded this netherite gold chestplate to netherite emerald. I then gathered an absolute ton of food and chopped down a large fir tree. I thought I could actually get tree bark from this, but I was completely wrong, so I used the planks to decorate this little cave that led down to the mob grinder. With this extra nether star in hand, it was time to fight the second boss, which also needs to be summoned. Now this is the Awful Ghast, and it's only found in Stalwart dungeons. I looked through tons of biomes, the most important one being this Soul Sand Valley. Eventually it spawned, and I made my way inside one of these rooms. Inside this structure there were tons of reinforced blazes and incomplete withers. For some reason in this mod pack, incomplete withers don't drop skulls at like a very high rate, so I ended up wasting a good bit of my time just fighting these guys. Doing all of that, I only had 1 skull, so I turned my attention to the Awful Ghast's altar. I used up a single nether star to summon this large and armored up ghast. Now this guy actually wasn't too strong at all. The only thing annoying about it was that it would get out of range for a little bit, and it started putting cooldown on my items. After a little bit of waiting around, I managed to take the Awful Ghast out and picked up 17 more levels. The quest reward gave me 5 levels on top, and then I spent a decent amount of time here farming more of these incomplete withers. This only got me like 1 more skull, but I did get a ton of XP and an extra lodestone. I came home to make myself a netherite emerald ingot and used that to upgrade the leggings. I explored the nether after that and ended up hitting the jackpot once again with this little tower structure. This time I managed to pick up 3 more lodestones and 1 netherite ingot. Inside of another tower connected to this one, I got just as many of the same items. So in total, with 4 more netherite ingots and 6 more lodestones, I managed to upgrade all of my gear to netherite emerald and the netherite diamond tier. From there, I went up the upgrade tree for the sword as well. At this point, the armor now pacifies endermen, piglins, and phantoms. And the sword gives like double rates on some mob drops. Day 69 to day 71, so there are like 2 more bosses that need nether stars, so I took out a wither once again. So these 2, I'm gonna leave these 2 for later, because Ignis is really strong, but this guy, Harbinger, is one of them that needs a nether star. And then this guy, the Shelterer, this guy needs a nether star too. The problem is this guy also needs TNT, and I don't have a very stable way of getting gunpowder. I then came home to smelt some of the ancient debris that I had from those towers, and I wanted to upgrade this diamond glove. I hopped into the nether really quick, and in here I tried picking up this thing called a propellant stem, but I just had no clue how to harvest it. These things can basically be cut up into gunpowder. From there, I did some research as I was bartering with a piglin, and I crafted this Eye of Mech, which would lead me towards the Harbinger. The structure it was in was called the Ancient Forge, and it just happened to be super far away. I managed to spend an entire night and most of the next day just trying to find this place. This eye ended up disappearing underground, which meant I was close. Again, I was like 5,000 blocks away from my home. I started vein mining my way deep underground and finally got on top of this structure. From there, it took me a little bit to find the actual entrance. Once I got inside, I made it to the boss and placed a nether star inside of his chest. This thing was basically a mecha wither, which fires lasers too. I was able to hide behind some of these pillars that had like EMPs, which were unbreakable, and then heal once in a while. Doing that, I was able to focus my attack on the guy after. This ended up helping me a lot, and I was able to take this boss out. For some reason, the quest reward didn't count, but I did pick up this witherite block and a wither assault shoulder weapon. I grabbed the really cool pillar blocks from this area and turned that witherite block into a mechanical anvil for later. After that, I basically grabbed every single good item from the loot room and warped back home. I ended up clearing out the left side area around my house to build a little area to house the dragon egg. For this, I used deep slate tiles and of course the same pillar blocks I just picked up. I also made sure to build paths towards the area and then fenced off the dragon egg. So I've been to the Aether in other mod packs, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it was not good at all. There's like, I only fought like one stupid little boss there. Hopefully I can find some cool things in here. I would really like some of the accessories. Come on, go in. Sending to the Aether. I swear, I don't think I've ever found like a proper dungeon in this place. I've only found those boss structures, not like an actual dungeon. Not the silver dungeon, not the gold dungeon, not the bronze one. Oh, I see something up here. You have to be something, don't you? Oh, this is the air wheel thing. Okay, let's go eat this. Yeah, 1 potion of strength. Let's go summon this absolute beast. Oh wow, I'm shredding through. These structures have some really cool loot though, so oh! It's actually not doing too much damage. Maybe I'm finally overpowered. Gotcha. There we go. No, one more hit, one more hit. Gotcha. Okay, that's one guy done. Platinum key, which I can use for these chests down here. This one, treasure chest. I use my thing on that. Life shard, what does this do? Oh, it gives you more health? Bro, that's clutch. What? Oh, something. We found something. Dungeon. Has to be a dungeon. Silver dungeon, okay. Now this one, defeat a Valkyrie. These don't seem kind of hard, so I'm gonna grab a strength potion just in case. Gotcha. So Valkyrie done. And that did tons of very annoying damage to me. Once I got rid of all the Valkyries and Mimics on the first little room, I equipped some rings and pendants. Then I moved through this dungeon going up the stairs. These Valkyries though happened to be extremely strong. After toughing it through all these mobs, I had plenty of victory medals and grabbed all the instant health potions that I had in my inventory. The only boss left at this point was the Valkyrie Queen. Alright. I wish to fight you. Very well. So I was actually super focused during this fight and didn't really talk much. The plan was actually simple though. I used this ice bow to slow the queen down and then was able to start knocking off chunks of her health. There were a few close calls, but I had tons of healing potions and golden apples, which made me feel a lot safer. This bow is absolutely epic. I love it. Okay, you're a lot weaker than I thought, but I guess that's probably because it's only one-on-one. Jesus. Let's try. I don't know what that just did, but that was terrifying. I need to repair my armor after this so bad. Wow, you were tough. Silver key for what? In here? Hey. Smithing template. Valkyrie chestplate. Whoa. Lightning sword. These are sick. What in the world? Valkyrie ring. Give me that. I grabbed every single thing from this structure and then came home to put this Valkyrie Queen trophy away, and I put the armor on an armor stand. I also had a ton of levels, so I put some enchants on my gear before I realized that I had a few more life shards that I could actually use up. I then doubled up the collection system for the mob farm and fully repaired my armor. The next morning, I went over towards the village and made another farmer. This time I got the apple trade and was actually able to use up all the gold blocks that I had. I picked up tons more emeralds as well, grabbed more fireworks, and hopped back into the Aether dimension to find another dungeon. Yeah, this is what the bronze dungeon is. What do I get? Chromatic air cloud. I don't need this. Hopefully this is not as annoying as the last one. I mean, it's already not summoning bosses immediately. This time I got a quest reward for beating you, so I don't mind. Hey. What are you? Sentries. These are the guys. What the heck are you? Oh, what are you? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my god, what the heck are you? We'll swap to this. This is a pickaxe. This constitutes as a pickaxe. So it turns out that this slider boss is a giant block which can only be attacked using a pickaxe. Lucky for me, this infernal forge happens to count as a pickaxe too. This boss was extremely tanky, but it only moved in 4 directions, so you could kind of get away every time. It still managed to damage me a bunch though. I'm gonna be honest with you, this thing, it felt weaker in the beginning, but it might be stronger than the Valkyrie. It just, everything surrounding it isn't as strong. Oh god. Okay, come on. Get down, you. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that was actually nerve-wracking. Oh my god, give me everything. Slider trophy. Neptune helmet, I guess? What's this? Grants double jump. Wearing 2 increases jump height. Shield of repulsion. This thing might be better than the one I have. Sentry stone, I don't really care. Put everything else away. Boom. Wow, that looks sick. Okay. Let's get our rewards. 100 XP. 100 XP. And Skyjade Gemstone, which I don't know what it does. The Sun Spirit cannot be killed by attacking it directly, and it must be killed by hitting the white object he throws back at it multiple times. Every time it is hit, the white object, it sends out a smaller version of itself to attack the player. If the player fails to kill the Sun Spirit, the spawn point will be reset over lava, forcing the player to delete the map. Let's leave this for later. Kinda like this map. With all these new rings and shields that I got from those 2 dungeons, I actually put mending on them since I had more than enough books. Once that was done, I went over to repair my gear. Once everything was repaired, I made netherite gloves and put this slider trophy on my head since I thought it looked cool. Before these days ended, I cleared some more land behind the dragon egg so I could place a beacon there later. Day 78 to day 80, in order to be safe, I needed like 2 more nether stars. One for a beacon and the other to summon another boss. This meant I basically spent like an entire full day farming these wither skeletons just for like 2 skulls. I was so tired of it, I took a break to make a blue cape. Once I got the 3rd skull, I demolished the wither very easily and went back to grinding out more wither skeleton skulls. This time I crafted these eyes of voids in between each, which should lead me to the Ender Guardian. With that done, I took out what should be my last wither and crafted a beacon. I made a 1-layer beacon with gold blocks and iron blocks. For this, I chose a speed boost. I accidentally clicked the dragon egg after that, so I had to pick it back up, but this time it had turned into a fire dragon egg. Once again, after that, it was time for a boss run. This time, I hopped into the end dimension. Inside of this place, I was looking for 2 structures. One was the Shelterer's dungeon, but more importantly, I wanted to find the ruined citadel. I used these eyes of voids to help me find it. On the 1st floor, I took out the Ender Golem, who dropped the void core and gave me 5 levels as a quest reward. From there, I looted some of the barrels and took this trapdoor down to where the actual boss is gonna be. Down here, I fought 3 more Ender Golems, who weren't that tough, and finally found the 2nd set of trapdoors that led me down to the boss of this structure. Oh, Jesus. Nice try. Oh, thank God for the shield. Okay, now probably the ground's gonna break. There we go. Oh my goodness. Nice try. There we go. Whew. Yeah, this boss was not too tough. I grabbed everything, plus the quest rewards, and came back home to expand the beacon properly. With that done, I hopped into the Nether because I wanted crying obsidian from these piglins. I actually ended up getting distracted and basically ran through tons of different biomes. Eventually, I found this Nether mine shaft where I figured out that you could harvest this propellant cane and stem with a knife. I picked a bunch of these up and looked through this entire little area. I only managed to get like more of those canes. I came home, cut up a ton of them for gunpowder, and then farmed it next to my dragon, which in hindsight is like the stupidest thing I could have done. Day 83 to day 87. I started off these days repairing some of the Aether items since they all have durability. With that done, I rolled through tons of enchants so I could get sweeping edge on my sword. This made mob grinding so much easier, so I wanted to take on a boss after that. Again, one of the bosses of course was the same one I was always looking for, so I grabbed 19 TNT and a Nether star, then went over to the End Islands looking for an End Stalwart dungeon. This took legitimately forever. I was here for days. I mean, I even found what could have been like the placeholder block for this structure, but the entire thing wasn't spawning. So to challenge another end boss, I took out this mob called an Enderiophage, who dropped a block called a capsid. With that done, I needed 2 more items. I first looked around the overworld for some flies, but had no luck. So I went to the Nether to fight tons of crimson mosquitoes. They were actually super annoying, and I only managed to pick up one of these proboscises. Back home, I finally got the fly to spawn, which dropped 4 maggots. I quickly hopped into the end, crafted a crimson mosquito larva, and put this inside of the capsid to get a mysterious worm. This should do it. This should give us the mysterious worm. Boom, let's go. And we gotta chuck this into the void. Get out of here. Now this void worm wasn't too tough. It was just kind of annoying. Oh, wrong guy. Dude was collateral. Oh my goodness. Those moves are so annoying. Gee, I can't see anything. Gotcha, that's one more. Let's go. Oh no, I split it in 2. Oh, that's gonna be a nightmare. I split it in 3. Even with 3 of these bosses on the battlefield, I actually managed to take most of them out. Then for some reason, they either ran away or died from my bow's chilled effect, but I actually ended up not getting the quest reward. I did, however, get the boss drop, which was weird. For the rest of these days, I learned about my dragon egg, and apparently a growth cycle is 20 minutes, so this thing was gonna hatch soon. Then I repaired a ton of items, which reminded me to go back to the Aether dimension. I was able to take out another air whale, and inside the main chest here, I picked up 1 more life shard. The chest also had a power glove, which was better than the netherite ones that I had, so I came home and put mending on this. I then ran out of levels, so I had to grind out more mobs, which allowed me to get power 5 on my bow. Day 88, so on this day, I crafted some tinted glass to cover up the dragon egg shrine. Then I went to the nether dimension and mined down to y = 15 to try and get some ancient debris. I managed to get like 4 pieces even though I was there all day. Anyway, with whatever I had, I crafted this Eye of Flame that would locate the Ignis boss. Around this time, my fire dragon egg hatched, and I tied it up and learned that fish makes it grow. So in these first few stages, I just gave it 17 cod. At this point, the dragon was rideable, and I started growing it using the stake I had. It looked really cool, so I kept it on top of this dragon egg altar. From there, I needed to find the structure that Ignis spawns inside of. There are 2 bosses that the quests require inside of this same structure. This actually took a really good amount of time, and I had to fight through my first fortress, which was actually funny. Then I reapplied all my potions when I got close to the burning arena. Top up on my fire resistance just in case. We'll grab my instant health. Eat one of the golden apples, and then let's get in there. Okay, so I need to take down one of those remnant things, these little minion guys. Yeah, you're not as absolutely broken as in medieval Minecraft. There we go, get out of here. Here it is, Ignis, cue the epic battle music. Make another shield, hurry. Okay, let's go. Alright, swap one more. Oh my goodness. Still strong. The only difference is I can actually do damage now, which is a huge plus. Nice try. Oh wow, what in the world? Dude. Oh my goodness. Oh, if you go way too far, okay, it doesn't let you glitch the boss like that. That's actually so cool. Oh wow, I got it to the second level. Nice try, Goofy. Got your movement patterns now. Nice try. Oh my god. That is a hefty move. Oh, the shield's broken. Oh, wow. What is happening? I'm down here. 3, 2, 1. Okay. No. Oh my goodness. Wow. This guy's still terrifying. I'm back in. Gotcha. Oh my goodness. Let's pick that up. Because of the fight, a lot of my gear was in rough shape, so I went down to the mob grinder and repaired it. With that done, I used this mechanical anvil to upgrade some of these cataclysm items. To end these days off, I actually focused on repairing my pickaxe, which for some reason it just wasn't picking up any XP from the mob farm. I actually had to trade a lot, and then I rode my dragon around for fun, and finally spent the night hunting down a ton of creepers since I was eventually gonna need tons of fireworks. Day 93 to day 100, I put all these days in together since I did a lot of things. First, I ended up spending a great amount of time looking for an ancient city. I was able to make a nature's compass, which actually helped a lot. Still, I was flying around for quite a bit. On the first try, I ended up finding a little deep dark biome, which didn't have any of those weird skulk blocks that could actually summon a warden. On the second try, I had to come back home and travel to a completely different area. I managed to complete a Blue Skies quest along the way, but I really didn't want to go into that dimension at all. After a very long time, I managed to fall inside of an ancient city. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought this warden was gonna be a walk in the park after all the bosses I'd taken out. But nope. Even though I reduced his health pretty easily, it would just take chunks of my health down. That's not even the worst part, the ranged attack would also completely ruin my health. So on the first try, I actually almost died, and I had to keep retreating and coming back over and over again until I could finally take the single warden out. Turns out sneaking helps a bunch. I picked up this quest reward and used this heart to activate the portal to the other side dimension. For some reason the quest didn't track, and since I was low on time, I decided to challenge another boss instead. It was time to fight the final Aether boss, who could potentially make you delete the world. This dungeon was actually called the Gold Dungeon, and it took me quite a bit to find. This thing just happened to be in some sort of random island. The Sun Spirit was then at the center, and after a little bit of dialogue, I had started the fight. There we go. Nice try, goofball. I can't damage this guy at all. Oh, I need to hit its thing back to it. How do I do that? These things aren't even moving properly. What do I do? I can't hit anything. Oh, there's one. Okay, I got you. Okay, I got it now. Get in between. We'll get rid of you. And then I need to hit you. Right at the dude. Where are you? Come on. Dude, please. Help me out. Oh. No. This way. Gotcha. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm taking a lot of more damage than I thought. Took another fire res. Now I need you. Let's go. Halfway done. No, come on, that was so close. Let's go. One more. Okay, now one more. That was just a trial run, I guess. Time for you to go. Did one more? Oh my god. Just like the tiniest bit of health. You are so annoying. Come on. Let's go. Get ruined. Gold key. And let's check your reward out. What do you give? Sun Spirit Head. Healing Stone. 3 minutes of regen. A waste of time. Another one of these. I think that's basically majority of the quests in this entire mod pack done in 100 days. I don't know what else I have to do. It's mostly everything. I didn't beat these guys, but I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. These guys are not that good. They're very annoying mobs. The Warden was the strongest one, and that guy took forever. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, leave a like and a comment.